Something jumps out at you in a dark parking lot. Maybe it's a shadow, maybe it's a sound, maybe it's just a stranger walking a little too fast behind you. And in that half second, your brain has three options: fight, flight, or the one nobody talks about. You just stop. Not on purpose. Your legs lock, your chest tightens, and you stand there like a mannequin while every instinct in your body is screaming that you're in danger. You don't run, you don't fight, you just freeze. And afterward, you feel embarrassed about it, like you failed some test you didn't know you were taking. Why does your body do that? Wouldn't running be the obvious move? Turns out, freezing isn't a glitch. It's one of the oldest survival strategies your body has, and it's been quietly saving lives for millions of years, long before humans were even human. Let's start with the obvious question. If freezing looks so much like doing nothing, how could it possibly help you survive? The answer comes down to who you were built to survive. For most of human evolutionary history, the biggest threat wasn't another person. It was something with claws, fangs, and a nose that could smell fear from 50 feet away. And here's the thing about predator vision. It's built almost entirely around detecting movement. A twitch, a flinch, a sudden dash. That's what triggers the chase instinct in a predator's brain. Stillness, on the other hand, is practically invisible. Rabbits do it, deer do it, even insects do it. When the option to run isn't clearly safe, freezing buys you something incredibly valuable, information, without giving away your position. This response has a name. Scientists call it tonic immobility, and it's not something you choose. It happens in a part of your brain called the amygdala, the same tiny almond-shaped structure responsible for processing fear before you're even consciously aware you're afraid. Within milliseconds of detecting a threat, your amygdala can override your prefrontal cortex, the rational, decision-making part of your brain, and lock your body into place before you've had a single coherent thought about what's happening. That's not weakness. That's your nervous system making an executive decision faster than you could ever make one yourself. And your body isn't just standing there uselessly. While you're frozen, your heart rate can actually drop. Your muscles tense in preparation for explosive movement, and your senses sharpen dramatically. You're not paused, you're loading. Researchers studying this response in both animals and humans have found that freezing often functions as a split-second risk assessment. Your brain rapidly scanning for the safest possible next move while presenting as little threat trigger as possible to whatever's out there. It's the biological equivalent of holding perfectly still while your GPS recalculates. Here's where it gets even stranger. Freezing isn't just about hiding from predators. It also matters when the threat is another human. Anthropologists studying conflict in small ancestral groups have pointed out that sudden aggressive movement, running, swinging, lunging can actually escalate a violent encounter. Stillness, by contrast, can sometimes de-escalate it. A frozen body sends a different signal than a fleeing one. It's less like prey bolting and more like an animal saying, "I am not a threat, and I am not worth the risk." In certain ancestral situations, freezing might have been the move that got you through a tense encounter without triggering a full-blown attack. There's also a modern piece of this puzzle that most people never connect to any of it. In situations of extreme, inescapable danger, especially threats that can't be outrun or fought off, the body sometimes goes one step further than freezing into something closer to full shutdown, a kind of protective numbness. Researchers believe this may reduce the physical experience of pain and trauma when survival genuinely isn't in your control. It's not a failure of the system, it's the system's last resort, a final layer of protection when neither fighting nor fleeing is realistically going to help. So next time you freeze up, whether it's a near miss on the highway, a confrontation you didn't see coming, or just a jump scare in a movie that hit a little too well, that stillness isn't your body betraying you. It's 10,000 generations of ancestors who survived long enough to pass down exactly this response. The ones who panicked and bolted toward the wrong shadow, they didn't always make it. The ones who went still, assessed, and waited for the right moment, they did. So that frozen half second you're embarrassed about, that's not you failing to react. That's your body doing exactly what it was built to do.